Ladies and gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey, welcome to Sports Unfolded, Season 3, Episode 19, Command and Conquer. I am your host, Eric. My main man right over there. Ron, how are you tonight?
I am fired up and ready to go.
Aren't we always? So excited about tonight's show. A lot to cover. We're going to talk a lot of basketball, NHL playoffs, some NHL. The NHL, NFL schedule has been released, so we're really excited about discussing some of that as well. But we're going to start off with our leadoff story. And last night, the Boston Celtics forced the Game 7. That'll be this Sunday after defeating the Philadelphia 76ers 95-86. Your thoughts on what we saw last night from the game, and then without making a prediction, because we will do that at the end of the show, your thoughts on what each team needs to do in Game 7 to be victorious to move on to the Eastern Conference Final.
Well, it's pretty simple. One of the teams, and they are a green team, needs to get their heads out of their butts. I mean, that's what they need to do. I mean, come on, could they be any more lackadaisical in this series? This reminds me of the series against the Warriors last year, where they just, decided, we're done. I mean, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, it's similar to what we saw last year with the Milwaukee Bucks. They had an opportunity, and then they let Milwaukee, and they had to win Game 6 and Game 7. I feel like this is the same exact team we saw last year, and this is my fear with all of this. They got tired in the finals, so they're playing a lot of games that they didn't need to play.
Right.
They had a great opportunity to win Game 5. They came out and were completely flat. They put a lot of energy in yesterday.
Yeah.
If they are able to win Game 7, again, all the energy that's been expended, now you're going to have to probably face a Miami Heat team that is obviously a very tough matchup for you to begin with, and who knows how long that series goes. So I was a little disappointed in Game 5 more than Game 6. I was impressed, and I will say I bashed Jason Tatum for probably 3 quarters.
Oh, yeah, but rightfully so. I mean, come on. I mean, this team, look, you see how sloppy they're playing, and yes, he came and he rose to the occasion yesterday in the fourth quarter, but not without Brown trying to cough it up. How many times did we see them throwing the ball away or just reaching for the ball instead of hustling to the ball? It's a lot of these little things that bit one other Boston team. It was the same problem. You're reaching instead of getting to it. And that's a big problem. And the decision making has been very poor, and it's just spreading like wildfire throughout the team. I mean, you saw it even with Brogdon in that game.
Yeah, a lot of turnovers just didn't. It looked sloppy at times. They can't win close games. We've already seen that in these playoffs. I think any game that's been decided by 5 points or less, they've lost in the postseason. So they need to figure out how to win the close games, how to be a little tougher. I think it's more mental toughness than anything else, Ron. I don't think physically Philadelphia is a more physical team than Boston. I think Boston has the horses to be able to contend with them physically.
They have the horses that they should be able to beat them rather easily, to be honest with you. The only matchup they lose is really Embiid.
Yeah. And I like this. I like the Mazzulla switch where he brought Horford and had Rob Williams in to start the game. I thought that created some, confusion for Philadelphia, because they seemed like they couldn't do what they wanted early on. And Boston went up on that big lead. They had a big lead, and yet they let them back into the game.
Absolutely.
Allowed Philadelphia to come back and take a lead. And that's the disappointing part of this team, that killer instinct we've talked about for the last 2 seasons. We still see it today. They had an opportunity to make that game easy enough yesterday where They could have rested some guys, sat some guys in the fourth quarter, but yet they let him come back and had to struggle in the fourth quarter to thank you for Jason Tatum getting hot when he did. Otherwise, they probably would have lost last night.
Yes. Yes, absolutely would have lost. It wouldn't even have been a question because nobody else could hit a shot. I mean, Harford was horrible in, shooting. Brown was just terrible. I'm sorry. He is a train wreck waiting to happen.
Turnover machine.
Oh my God, he's so sloppy with the ball, and it's gonna cost them, and it could cost them Game 7 if they play like they did, in the first 3 quarters. It's over.
So the kicker in this series is they're averaging more points, about 6 more points per game. They're out rebounding them. They're out assisting them. They have more blocks. And if you think about with Embiid, they're even on turnovers, which, believe it or not, doesn't seem possible. They're shooting the ball 3% better at 46% versus 43. They're shooting threes better. Philadelphia's got a little bit of an edge on free throws. They're beating them in almost every statistical category that they need to. And yet somehow I don't understand how this series is tied 3-3. Like, it's just blowing my mind.
That's because of the laziness and the contentness of this team. And that is a problem. And I'm telling you, if they lose Game 7, there's going to be a lot of changes.
So we're talking a lot about Boston, but what about Philadelphia as well? James Harden, do we see that same James Harden playoff, mystique, which is not a good thing with him because it's probably more of a negative.
No,
that's what we saw again. Yes.
Game 6, he was horrible, Eric. I mean, he didn't do what he needs to do in order for this team to win. And yes, I know he's had some shooting percentage problems in this series in different games, but if he stays aggressive, I think that 76ers can actually win even if he doesn't have a good shooting day, but he has to stay aggressive because when he is, it opens up, especially Maxey. It opens Maxey up like tremendously. And, they have some guys that can really drop, 3-pointers all game long. And if he's aggressive, that's going to open them up and he can just kick it out. And that's it for the Celtics.
So before we move on, Ron, let me ask you this question, and I'll answer it as well. Your 2 players from each team. So there's got to be a player from Boston and a player from Philadelphia. Who needs to step up for both of them to win, for their team to win? Who do you feel is the guy on both teams?
Well, I think it's absolutely Harden, and it's not necessarily has to be his points, but it's how he distributes the ball and when he does. He can't go in driving to the net and be, second guessing himself. He has to go there with a purpose. And if he gets into trouble, then kick it out. And then that drains the 3. If he's doing that, Celtics are in trouble. And the other one really is really a combination. Tatum has to play a full game, but Brown has to just control himself. He cannot cough up the ball time and time again because that is going to kill the Celtics.
Agreed. I think those are 2 very good ones. I am going to say, though, Joel Embiid for Philadelphia, can he get 40-plus points? He can do it. They need to feed him the ball, and I think that's one of the glaring issues that happened in Game 6. He didn't touch the ball the last 4 minutes of the game. He's your best player. He needs to have the ball in his hand majority of the time.
Yes.
And I don't think, again, nobody matches up well with him on Boston.
Nobody.
And then I will say, believe it or not, you're going to think I'm crazy right now, but I'm going to say Marcus Smart. And the reason why I'm going to say Marcus Smart, I'd rather have him take less shots, be more of the defensive guy that they need him to be, that agitator, getting under those guys' skins, creating turnovers. And then also at the same time, taking better shots. Because I feel like once Marcus Smart makes a 3-pointer, he takes 16 in a row. Slow it down. Let's not, be smart about it. No pun intended. If Marcus Smart can actually just play to his abilities and not try to do more, I think Boston has a very good shot to win that game. Same thing with Embiid. But those are my two. But we move on. Great discussion. Can't wait for game 7 Sunday night. We will do a prediction at the end of this show, and we will let you know who we think is going to win the game. But we're going to talk some NFL, Ron. NFL has released their schedule for 2023. So we're going to break down some games that we felt that we're really looking forward to. And I don't know how you want to do it. I did it like by week, which games I wanted to see. We can do it that way. Or if you have a different way you'd like to do it, let me know. But I thought we could just start off with week 1. Is there any games of interest in week 1 for you?
Well, I have 2 games of interest. My first game has to be Buffalo and the Jets.
I have.
Look, it's the first game, with Aaron Rodgers, and we're going to find out if that team is for real.
Exactly. If they get blown out, let's just say that happens and Buffalo just, runs right through them. You're already going to have people questioning the move.
Right.
So it's probably more important for New York to win that game than Buffalo, but.
Right. Especially considering it's at technically New Jersey, but it's at New York.
And it's a Monday night game, so it's the only game on.
Yes.
So there's nothing you can.
There's
change.
no hiding. It's going to be out there.
That's it. What else? What other one did you have for week 1?
I have Dallas and the Giants.
Okay.
For similar reasons. They were both, they're both division rivals, obviously. And now we're going to see if last year was a fluke for the Giants.
Yeah. I honestly know why you want that game, because you want to see Daniel Jones fall flat on his face.
I do.
After that contract. I know exactly where you're going with that one.
I do.
But if he does win that game, it's something they weren't able to do last year, was beat Dallas, right? So here's a good momentum builder for them. But they got a very tough schedule early on in the season.
Yeah, well, they had an easy schedule last season. So
it helps.
Yes, you have to play Philly. Yes, you have to play Dallas twice a year. But, the games that were added onto your schedule last season weren't very good teams.
Yeah.
And they took advantage of that. Now they're gonna have to be good in order to get back into the playoffs.
It's gonna be fun.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
I didn't have anything for weeks 2 and 3. I did have a week 4. Did you have anything for 2 or 3?
I had one for 3. I have Dallas and San Francisco.
Is that when they're playing week 3? I must have missed that one. I have in week 5, Dallas at San Francisco. Week 5.
Wait. Oh yeah, it is a 5. You're right. Never mind.
All right. So no problem. Week 4, I have Kansas City at the New York Jets. So again, we bring the Jets in. Depending on where the Jets are at that point, Kansas City, obviously the favorites in the AFC. Still, is this the time we start to see that passing of the torch, or maybe some kinks in the armor there?
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna see. Kansas City, I think, is still going to be the team to beat. I don't know if there's going to be kinks in the armor. I mean, who knows? Because injuries are a big part of it. One injury could really put
anybody, right? Yeah, anyone, right? Anyone, yeah.
But if you look at the roster right now, as is, I think Kansas City will stay on top of that division. I mean, you never know, because like some of these teams that beefed up, last season, it might have taken a year for them to get accustomed to those teams with the new players. Personally, I don't think Vegas is going to be a team that is going to be like that.
Yeah, I don't have them on any of my games of interest.
No, I don't. Well, yeah, I always have. Well, you have the Vegas and Patriot one. So,
I don't have a Patriot one either. So
because now, seeming Tom Brady is going to be a partial owner. So the Brady
potential.
Bunch,
very close.
Yeah. Well,
so that would make it even more interesting.
Then the Brady bunch is back in effect, because now it's, that Brady name is in Vegas, which is really terrible.
Yes. Don't like it. Week 5, you said it, Dallas at San Francisco, right? Dallas has got a lot of, bad memories when it comes to San Francisco and some of the ways they've ended their playoffs.
Yeah.
So, again, maybe a revenge game for Dallas. but we don't even know what the Cowboys are going to be, right? There's changes with Kellen Winslow now, no longer their offensive coordinator. We'll see how that all turns out. Maybe, you know what I mean? They're not the same team. Who knows? Anybody else week 5 that you saw?
No, that was it.
Week 6?
Week 6, that was the New England Las Vegas one. So
okay, I had Philly at the Jets.
Yeah, that was my second one there.
Yeah, I don't know. I looked at New England's schedule. Obviously, they're our hometown team. I got them maybe winning 7 games.
Oh yeah, I don't even know that.
So
I just like that matchup because it's because of
I get it, but and if you want to factor in last season and the way New England lost that game, that's an interest because we're gonna have to relive that again all during the pregame and probably halfway through the game. So now that's a good point there. But Philadelphia, New York Jets, possibly a Super Bowl preview. I thought that was going to be an interesting one. I had 2 for week 8. I didn't have anything for week 7. You have something in week 7?
No, I don't. I have the Jets at the Giants in week 8.
Okay.
Battle of New York, and they're supposed to both be a good team this year, so we'll find out, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I had Cincinnati at San Francisco.
Yep, that's a good one.
I also go ahead.
You did things a little differently than what I did. I picked out the games that I really wanted to see.
Yep, I got you.
And because like a lot of the
so far, you've got Daniel Jones a couple times because I know exactly where we're going.
There's not a lot.
I see where you're going. I also had week 8. Let's not forget Houston at Carolina.
Oh, come on.
CJ Stroud versus Bryce Young there. That we could see both 1-2 quarterback. It'd be the first time you ever see a first and second pick overall face each other.
Okay.
So I just
suppose.
think let's see which quarterback at that point. You're talking about 8 weeks in. We're going to kind of know who made the right choice.
I guess. Yeah.
Week 9, I have 2 as well.
I got 3.
Ooh, okay. I'm sure we both have Dallas at Philadelphia.
Yep.
That's a guarantee. My next one, I know you don't have. But what are your other 2?
I have Buffalo at Cincinnati.
Ooh, I must have missed that. I missed that one. All right. I like that. That's a good one. That brings up some memories, huh?
And Dallas at Philly.
Dallas at Philly, I already said yes. We both had Dallas at Philly. What was the third one?
Oh, nope. There was only 2 because I threw it down twice.
That's how bad you want to see that game. Dallas at Philly. You wrote it down twice.
Yes.
I had also Indianapolis at Carolina because now you got the 4th pick overall.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't have that one.
I told you wouldn't. Listen, these rookie quarterbacks, it's going to be all the talk all season long. Who made the right choice? I think Indianapolis, we already talked about it, a real stretch. We might not even see Richardson there. Week 11. I didn't have anything for week 10. Did you have anything for week 10? Week 11, I had Philly at Kansas City Monday night.
Yeah,
rematch of the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
That should be a nice game to watch if both of these teams are healthy and still on track to imagine seeing them again in the Super Bowl. 38-35, I'd take that any day of the week.
Yeah.
Week 12, I had Buffalo at Philadelphia.
Oh, of course. You have to have that one.
Right? That's a possible Super Bowl. Again,
it
another
is
Super Bowl preview.
I mean, you're talking, you get the same 3-4 teams, involved in all these conversations. If they're playing outside of and in those divisions, they're going to play each other.
Yeah.
And that's the matchups that we all want to see.
Yes. Yes, sir. Week 13. Who do you got?
Nobody.
I had San Fran at Philadelphia.
Yeah, see, I don't have that one.
And again, this is based on San Francisco being the same team. We don't know quarterback situation in San Francisco.
And that's the thing. That's why I shied away from that one because I depending on the quarterback situation, I don't see them beating Philly.
Week 14. Anybody week 14?
Negative.
I have Buffalo at Kansas City.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wait, is that week 14?
Yes.
Oh, I had it in 15. Sorry.
You're doing really well with this.
I can't read my writing.
Yeah, so Buffalo at Kansas City. Again, we know that kind of history with those two teams.
Right, right.
That'll be a fun one. Week 15, I had Dallas at Buffalo.
Yeah, no, I don't think Dallas is in the same league as Buffalo. So
Okay, I like it. I had the last one I had week 17. Sarah, thanks for joining. Week 17. Who do you have a matchup?
No.
Cincinnati at Kansas City. I think that might be.
Yeah.
They faced each other the last 2 years in the
Yeah, but
playoffs.
it's week 17, Eric.
You don't think
They
they'll all
might
be
not even be playing.
home field advantage could be on the line in that game?
It could be, but I doubt it. I think it's going to be set in stone by then.
You think so?
Yeah.
So you'll have to tune in for our NFL preview show to see who we pick, how we pick, who's
Well, I
getting
don't
there.
like week 17 games, Eric, because you don't even know if they're going to be playing.
Yeah, I gotcha. It's a good point, but schedule's out. Check it out. See how your favorite teams are doing. There's a lot of new stuff coming out. Browns possible new logo and some stuff. There's a lot of fun.
Wait. Browns logo?
Yeah, they got a contest going on right now for
Because they don't have a logo.
Yeah, the dog. They got a dog thing. Check it out. Go online.
Mascot.
So mascot, yes. So we got one more NFL story I want to talk about real quick. We're going to bring up our old friend there, Mr. Tom Brady. So the New England Patriots are going to honor Tom Brady during their first game, their home opener. Do you agree with the timing? Do you think this is going to be the right time? I love Bill Belichick's hair there, by the way. I don't know.
I do think it's the right time. But I also think it isn't. And the reasons are totally different. First of all, it's Tom Brady, so you have to do it because of what he is for this league. So you can't put it off any longer, because of who he is. I mean, you've got to define, hey, this is the guy that got us all these championships, and you have to recognize that. Because if you don't, then it starts looking pretty bad for the team, and then he just pulls away and pulls away and pulls away, forever
So
until you have bad play.
Can I counter that argument? Because I think some of that too. Think about it. He's already in Tampa, right? There's that Tampa Bay thing.
Right.
But then now you're saying, look, he's got ownership possibly with the Raiders. Like he's already pulled himself away from New England.
Right. Yeah, but I'm talking about the disconnect as a franchise with your franchise quarterback, with your fan base. Because you don't want something to happen where if there's a disconnect there, and there was with like the Bruins and Phil Esposito for a long time, and it took him a long time to retire his number. When a team starts giving up that number and giving up that number, for other players, it starts to be a black cloud overhead, and you don't want any of that negative energy or karma or anything like that coming to the team. But with that being said, I think it's a really bad time to do it because of your current quarterback situation.
Yeah, and I was going to mention that. I think
Because,
with Mac Jones,
look, he's gotta get away from that shadow. That is hard to do because that is a very big shadow.
So here's the problem. They're facing Philadelphia.
Right.
Philadelphia obviously is considered probably the best team in the NFL right now.
Right.
The outcome's probably going to be poor.
Right.
So imagine those fans in the stands now with Tom Brady sitting there next to Robert Kraft, and we're looking down at Mac Jones on that field week 1 getting destroyed.
Right.
How that's automatically going to ruin the rest of the year for you.
Right. And that's the thing that I worry about, because he's going to be sitting in that crowd. And let me tell you, I don't care what anybody says. He is going to be nervous because Tom Brady is there and he knows the team that they're playing. And if it gets ugly.
Maybe Tom jumps in. Maybe Tom unretires. Maybe this is the plan right now. They're going to have Robert's going to be in the booth. He's going to give him a little nudge. He said, look, Tom, we need another one of those fourth quarter comebacks.
Again, another reason why it could be a disaster.
Absolutely. And how do you think Bill Belichick will feel if everybody's booing the Patriots on the field and only cheering for the guy that you let go 3 years ago?
Right.
I think it's the worst. Like if the team's 1-5, whatever, and then you have a home game, you want to get people in the stands, and we already our expectations. You're going into this thing, your season opener, basically hoping you don't get slaughtered.
Right.
Because if you do, your entire season's done. You're ruined.
Yeah, this could be a really bad thing. And you could basically destroy a quarterback. Because I think he's a good quarterback. I'm not saying he's great.
He's good.
You know,
he's good. Yeah.
He's a smart kid. You know, he does make good decisions when he has time. He can do great things. You know, that's like any quarterback, right? You have the time, you're going to pick the teams apart. But you know, you're looking at this team. I mean, what did they really improve?
They drafted a kicker and a punter in the draft, so I'm really looking forward to that. I think that's going to make a difference.
And you hear a lot of things saying, "Oh, the Patriots stole a receiver in the 6th round." Yeah. Okay.
They're in trouble, Ron. They are the fourth best team on that division.
Right, and it's going to be an ugly season.
And that's why I think
renew a whole new offense. You know, it has
timing's horrible. I love Tom Brady because he's finally retired. He's forever a Patriot, forever the greatest Patriot of all time. There's no words that can describe what he's meant to this organization. To me, though, I would have waited. I would have waited a little bit, and let's just see what happens. Because if Mac Jones is playing well, and then you have Tom in there, at least people will start to say, "Oh, look, the passing of the torch, things are going well." If this week one starts off really poorly, I agree 100% with you, Ron. There's going to be fans out there that are saying the best quarterback in that stadium right now is sitting next to Robert Kraft.
Yeah.
And it's just going to ruin the kids, the whole kids' mentality. No, we'll see. We'll see. We'll have to wait for that one. September 10th, I believe it is. About 3 months away. All right, my friend. It is time for triple play.
Grounded to third. There's one. There's two. There it is. It's a triple play.
So we decided we're going to give the USFL some love because we don't really.
We decided?
We did. We as Sports Unfolded. We are all one. We are all Sports Unfolded. So we decided we were going to take some of the top players that ever played in the USFL, and that was Jim Kelly, Reggie White, and Steve Young. And we're going to decide who we would start, bench, and cut. You are first this week. I cannot wait to see how this turned out.
Okay. All right. So here we go. So it was really tough until I looked at the numbers.
Okay.
Number 3, I have Steve Young.
So you cut Steve Young.
So I cut Steve Young.
Wow.
That's right. This is okay. Yeah, it's in reverse. So
start, bench, cut. Okay.
So all right. So I
Steve
cut Steve
Young.
and I start Reggie White, and I bench Jim Kelly, and here is why. Reggie White, 2 seasons, 23.5 sacks. Looks like the numbers he put up.
Oh, you went off the USFL numbers.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you slick. I went off the that's why. I'm like, wait a minute, but go ahead.
Yeah, so Reggie White with his 23.5 sacks in 2 seasons, you know, those are Reggie White numbers, right? And he's the number 1 guy here, clearly. Because when I look at the other two guys' numbers, it's really not good. Jim Kelly with a 63% completion ratio was better than Steve Young's 56.4. Jim Kelly also had the most yards, 5,219 in the 2 seasons, as opposed to Steve Young's 4,102. But these are the numbers that really mattered. 83 touchdowns for Jim Kelly, only 16 for Steve Young. 16. That's terrible.
I didn't do the USFL number, so
Yeah, I
you go ahead.
know. Interceptions, Jim Kelly had 26. Not too bad considering he had 83 touchdowns, but Steve Young, 22 interceptions with those 16 touchdowns. Clearly, Steve Young deserved to be cut.
Yeah, no, I think based off of the numbers you put, yeah, absolutely, right? I did it a different way. So I had Steve Young on my bench based on his 3 championships in the NFL.
Yep.
Reggie White, I did start, and I cut Jim Kelly.
Yeah, if you go by NFL, that's what I would have done.
Yeah. But you always want to be the oddball. I love it.
Oh,
about you.
yes. Oh,
And
yes.
that's why we do the things we do, my friend.
Well, I had to make a decision without knowing if it was, USFL numbers or NFL numbers. So I went with USFL.
I love it. I love it. All right, my friend. Well, let's talk some more NBA here. We're going to discuss the remaining series or those that are no longer remaining. So a couple of series ended a series ended yesterday, and that was the Denver Nuggets defeating the Phoenix Suns. Your thoughts on Denver now in the Western Conference Final?
Oh my God. I now truly believe Denver is going to win the championship. I don't think any team is good enough to beat them. I don't think.
I mean, I know your future
I saw what they did.
weren't losing again.
Oh,
you lost that one, but
yeah, I know. But last week I didn't have them done, so I had to kind of create them at the moment. I forgot to do them, so that's the cost you make. But I watched that game. Let me tell you, Denver completely dismantled Phoenix. Completely.
Agree.
And it was ugly.
If you're
ugly.
If you're the fans of Phoenix, this is back-to-back years now that you had a game at home where you got destroyed in the playoffs. They lost Game 7 last year, they at home, and then they lost Game 6 last night. And I just don't understand. I don't get it. We'll save some other things because I got some stuff on Phoenix that I'd like to discuss. So we'll move on from.
I just want to say, when the Joker, and I was going to name it Joker's Wild today.
Ooh,
that would have been nice, but we'll save that one because I got a feeling it's going to happen again
in the finals. Yeah.
Look, after the first quarter, he was on pace to get a triple-double in the first half. But they had such a big lead, he just sat for extra time. So he didn't get that triple-double in the first half.
Yeah,
he was ugly.
He's just an unreal player that can do so many different things. He's a definition of a unicorn because somebody his size shouldn't be able to do the things he does and dominate the way he does, and he's able to do it with ease.
To me, he's the best player in the league.
Yeah. So Knicks Heat, the series 3-2, Miami is ahead in that. We will be picking that game. Are we picking that game tonight? Yes. Yes, we are. And that game's tonight, right? Yes, that game is tonight. So your thoughts on
yourself?
I am answering myself. I do that a lot. It's when I start arguing with myself. That's when you need to worry, Ron.
Okay.
All right. So Knicks Heat obviously lost Game 5. Knicks came through at home, but this one's in Miami. Your thoughts on what's going to happen here?
To me, it really doesn't even
Without
matter.
making a prediction.
No, to me, it doesn't even matter. Like, this is like the only series of the 4 that absolutely does not matter because I think whoever wins is going to lose pretty easily to either Boston or 76ers. And I know that's even saying, how the Celtics have been playing, but they should handle them pretty easily.
Jimmy Butler, though, has been that dude. And that's where you got to worry about it. And I feel like he's a guy that can carry a team.
Yeah.
And he can basically win a series for his team. I think out of all the teams that are remaining, other than Denver with Jokic, he's probably the most important person on a team right now that can actually get you to a finals.
Mm. No,
I know that sounds crazy, but look at AD and LeBron and those guys. We know the expectation. I don't expect, to your point, Miami to get to the finals, but if they do, it's going to be because Jimmy Butler had one of those series.
yeah, I just don't even see it happening.
And the Knicks, again, with all their players that they're trying to play 40 plus minutes, and that's all we're hearing about. It's the playoffs. Deal with it. Deal with it.
Yep.
What about the Warriors Lakers? Lakers are up 3-2.
Yeah, it's look, I don't count the Warriors out, but at the same time, I mean, the Lakers are playing well.
Injury to Anthony Davis, though,
But
not a
there
concussion.
lies the problems, right?
So I saw one of the greatest things I thought I saw the other day, yesterday or today, it might have been. There was a video with Kobe, and he tore his Achilles. He came out, ran another play, tore his Achilles again, even worse. Ended up shooting the free throws before he came out of the game.
Yeah.
And they were showing Anthony Davis getting hit in the head and then going out in a wheelchair. So they're like, the NBA is a little softer now than it was back then, because you tore your Achilles not once, twice in a matter of seconds, and still made sure you shot the free throw just in case you could still keep playing.
Right. Exactly.
Absolutely ridiculous when you think about where Kobe was. The Lakers, it's an interesting one, though, too, because does LeBron start to show that age? Is this maybe, again, you say you don't doubt the Warriors because they have the firepower to do it.
Yeah. And that's the thing, look, I mean, now what's the status of AD, right? I mean, if he's out, I think the Warriors win again. Look, we've seen the shooting, right? I mean, a team that can shoot, even if you have one guy that goes cold, you still have a couple more guys that can do it. And they don't call them the Splash Brothers for nothing.
Yeah.
Because one can just take over a game and just hit after hit after hit. And there's nothing you can really do about it when that happens.
And if I'm LA, I'm scared because Klay Thompson has not played well.
Right. And he's
due a game.
He's
due a game. And if he gets going and Steph's doing Steph things, I don't know. This goes 7, and then who knows at that point?
Right. Anything can happen. And I think the Lakers, even though they have that 3-2 lead, I mean, 3-2.
Yeah, 3-2.
Yeah,
yep.
3-2 lead. It's not secure. It's not secure.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a fun series. We will make some predictions at the end of the show and kind of let you know who we think is going to win. But we're going to talk some Major League Baseball. We're going to talk a little bit about the Red Sox, Ryan. We haven't covered the Red Sox much, but Matsutaka Yoshida, he continues to shine. What a good signing it looks like for Boston right now. Do you think he can continue this? He's going to get on the screen any second, and not the actual Yoshida. That would be right. If he wants to join us, absolutely.
He was busy.
I need you to brush up on your Japanese, Ron, okay?
Yeah.
Just in case. All right. But what do you think?
Well, maybe I can lure Ohtani on as well.
We'll get them all one shot. Let's do it.
Right.
So, obviously, he's having a very good year. Boston has started off in fairly good shape. Is this sustainable for him?
Yeah, I think it is. Look, I mean, he may be a rookie in the league, but he's been playing for a while. I don't see anything changing. He has a nice swing, as you can see, on the photo there. Yeah, because you can actually see a swing on a photo. Yeah. But no, he's got a nice swing. This park was really made for left-handers. I mean, we've seen it throughout history, from Ted to Yaz to Devers to Poppy. I mean, lefties thrive here. Wade Boggs. So, to me, this is a big signing. He is going to perform very well, especially when you have Devers in that lineup with him.
And Devers right now struggling. Well, let's say 11 home runs, but he's batting like under 250. So if Devers gets going as well, I mean, that's a good 1-2 combination.
Right.
Yoshida's batting 298, 36 hits, 6 home runs, 24 RBIs, 20 2 runs.
Yeah, he's
Again,
in the top 3 in like all the major categories for Boston, you
yeah,
know?
and he's top 40 in OBP and slugging percentage in
Right,
Major League Baseball.
right.
So again, he's been I think this might be one of those sneaky signings that people weren't counting on to be very effective, and now I hear
Yeah.
more of the people talking about Boston being a contender.
Well, and when you think about when they signed him, like all the talk with all the reporters in Boston, not us, of course, they were saying, oh, what are we going to do for an outfielder? What are we going to do for an outfielder? And they basically overlooked him being a full-time player. And the Red Sox saw something in him, and they scouted him for a while, and he's proving to be that guy.
Yeah.
And so you think of, obviously, Ichiro comes to mind. It's kind of like that, less speed, more power.
Yeah, no, listen, we've seen a lot of these Japanese players come over now and be very successful.
Absolutely.
So you're going to see the league continue to do this. Those guys have obligations over there, so sometimes they come in a little later. So again, at 29, but again, in baseball years, that's probably another 5-6 years of solid baseball.
When you think about it, like Japan wins like the World Series all the time, right?
Yeah, World Baseball
They
Classic,
win the
yeah.
World Baseball Classic, like they win. Okay, so they gotta be good players over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So and that translates. They're more disciplined. I mean, when you think about it, Japanese, as a population, is more disciplined than most countries. And that translates into baseball. So they're going to see more pitches. They're going to wait for a better pitch. And you got a guy like this coming in, and he's got the 298 average.
Yeah.
And he's waiting for his pitch, and he'll get it eventually.
Yeah, I think if you
Especially with that pitch count.
Yeah, I think if you ask most people prior to this, what we're seeing now, they would not say he'd be batting 298. So he's able to face Major League Baseball pitching. We do see this, though, with a tendency sometimes when guys first come into the league, pitchers don't know how to pitch to him.
Right.
Let's see later in the season if they figured out how to get him out.
Right.
What can he or can't he hit?
The pitchers will have to make adjustments to him. There's no track record of what they like, what their tendencies are. So that there's going to be an adjustment. But then there's also an adjustment that the batter will have to face, because once they figure out, what the pitchers are doing, they're going to have to counter that. And it's a constant battle between pitchers and hitters.
Yeah.
And now that there's going to be some constant, footage on the actual player, hitting.
Sometimes it makes a difference.
Yeah.
The Amazing Pants has joined us. Thank you. We love you too. Thank you.
The Amazing Pants.
So one more story in Major League Baseball. The Atlanta Braves, a couple of big injuries here. Max Fried and Kyle Wright, both expected to miss possibly up to 2 months, if not more. They currently sit in first place, Ron. Can they sustain this? They're 6.5 games up on the Miami Marlins right now, believe it or not, are in second place. Philadelphia. So Philadelphia is coming up too. So that can they sustain this? Obviously, we know what those 2 pitches mean to the organization.
That's a big chunk of your wins right there. I don't know. I don't know if they can hold off. They're going to have to make a move to get another starter, and good luck with trying to do that, because now,
this early in the season, nobody's.
There's nobody that's completely. I think the worst team is 9.5 back, and that's just not enough to be behind.
Is that the Yankees again? Because they're pretty far back.
I think it's Kansas City, actually.
I think the Yankees might be too. So
yeah, they might be.
Yeah. So again, listen. What Atlanta's been able to do though is they bring up a lot of young talent,
right?
And they've been able to put them in the lineup, and they've been successful. So this is going to be a big test now. And again, we consider them probably one of the favorites in the National League, just based on what they've been able to do the last few years. So it's going to be fun to see if they can sustain this. 25-12 right now. So we'll have to keep an eye with these injuries. It's now May 12th. Let's see in a month where they're at.
Yeah, so in a couple of weeks we're gonna have Tampa Bay, Baltimore,
Miami Marlins.
Pittsburgh, and Miami all in the top 5 on the.
We thought football was weird, basketball. Like this is like mind blowing what baseball is doing right now to us.
Yeah.
All right, my friend. Great Major League Baseball talk. Everybody that's joining us live, we appreciate the support. It's time for our future prospects, Ron. I know how much you love this segment.
Yeah, I do actually, but I wasn't prepared last week.
So, future prospects, basically, we're going to give you 2 statements that we've seen now in the future. We've broken out our crystal ball, went into our time machine, went forward and said, look, we know what's going to happen. And we're going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. We're going to give you 2 of them. Ron, you are first.
Okay, so I have Real Madrid.
Oh, look at you. All right.
Will win the UEFA Champions League. So they will reign as champions. They will get by Manchester City, and they will get by the winner of Milan and Inter Milan.
If you don't and you haven't tuned in, check out Just for Kicks with Brian. Manny may be joining. And then you also got Ron, who's kind of co-hosting that bad show, man. That's a bad show. And when I mean bad meaning good, not bad meaning bad. So
what?
it's some lyrical lyrics. If you don't know that song, that's on you, bro. Madrid winning Champs League. What we can't. Well, do not put that comment up. Okay, love the prediction. So that is that's in the future. Ron's seen it. He's been in that time machine. I've also gone into my time machine, Ron. And my first one is, believe it or not, Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton will both be traded in the offseason. They will no longer be part of the Phoenix Suns. They have destroyed this team after sitting out in the playoffs. They're tired of Chris Paul's injuries when they need him at the worst time for him to possibly be out.
Yeah, that's not surprising then.
So done deal.
Yeah, I think so too. No, I agree with that.
And think about it. They just signed DeAndre Ayton to that they matched that deal when they could have had a chance to let him go. And now they're regretting that as well.
Yep.
That is my first future prospect.
It's okay. They can send Ayton over here. Can replace Horford when he retires.
I would take that.
That would be a good move by itself.
Yes. What's your second, Ron?
Oh, my second.
All right. What else is your time machine showing?
So, guess what starts tonight?
WNBA.
Right. The preseason of the WNBA. I don't know how you know. I think you were listening to my
wise man
conversation. Before the show started.
I've got your studio bugged. If you didn't.
Yes, apparently. So, with players such as Stewart, Willoughby, Vandersloot, Jonquil Jones, and of course, a cast of other solid players, I had an epiphany, as does Liberty.
See what he did there?
They will start the season off 5-0, including the opener against Washington.
Okay.
So they're going to jump off to a 5-0 start.
That Breanna Stewart signing is going to be very big.
It is big, massive.
That is one of those, altering league moves that we possibly could see. So my second one, and I was so excited about the NFL schedule coming out. I said, let me see how this season turns out. I'm not going to tell you who's going to win it because you got to stay tuned for the NFL preview show coming to you in August. But what I will tell you is Joe Burrow will be named MVP because this will be the last season that he has all those guys with him because they're all going to be moving on because of the contracts and being able to pay them. He is going to be the MVP. He's going to show out, possibly be in the Super Bowl, but we'll save that for August. But Joe Burrow will be the NFL MVP this upcoming season.
Yeah, it's good. That's a good one too.
The Amazing Pants agrees.
Yeah, it's not very often you have good ones, but these two were really good.
The Jets playing the first time in 12 years on a Sunday. How do I tell him no one cares? Rick, thanks for joining. Rick, my friend. Yes, I will tell you this. A lot of people are caring when the Jets are playing now. They are like, that's all everybody's talking about. If you watch some four-letter sports network, that's on every 20 minutes. I think there's a story about Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. So, but yeah, I you know what? I don't care. We care about all sports. We don't narrow it down to one guy. We don't follow one guy. We follow it all here at Sports Unfolded.
That's right. That's right. Even the WNBA and the UEFA.
Amazing Pants went into my time machine and said, but SU is 2 letters. Yeah, because that's all anybody's ever watching, right? SU, baby. You know it, Rick. I hear you. Amazing Pants is reading my mind. He knows. What do we think about Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers? Mr. Rodgers? Which Rodgers are we talking about? Good or bad season? I think he's talking about Aaron. I think that
I don't know because he has a kid at home, so it could be Mr. Rogers.
You see that? You see what you did there? That was pretty good, Ron. I will say this. I think it's going to be more predicated on the defense in New York than anything else that Aaron Rodgers does. I think the defense has to be able to stop. They are considered a top 5 defense. Can they do it again? If they're that good defensively, I think they can have a very good shot. But the AFC East is a very tough division this year.
Yeah, no doubt. The Patriots are going to be last in that division most likely, unless disaster strikes someone.
The only team that really, Miami and us, realistically, will be one of those bottom teams. I think the Jets have a good shot of being at least second in the division.
I think so too.
They have enough talent, but I wouldn't count on it being because of Aaron Rodgers. I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers won't be a contributing factor, but that defense has to be a top 5 defense.
Yeah,
because I don't think he could do it on his own. And we've seen that in Green Bay. With him in Green Bay never had a solid defense, and he was able to get them to 13-3 and lose every year.
And good luck trying to get through the gauntlet in the AFC playoffs if you make the playoffs.
Right, Kansas City, Cincinnati. We already know those 2 teams are definitely front runners. Buffalo.
Yeah, not to mention, you have the Chargers there too as well. There's some good teams out there.
See, this is the glass half full by the Amazing Pants. At least we're on top. We don't live in the past here in New England, though. We talk about today. And now all everybody wants to do is talk about the past. We're going to bring Tom Brady back and do a whole lot of thing. We're talking about the past. What's going on today? They stink. They're horrible. I cannot take it.
They need a new head coach.
It's coming. I think 2 more years. I think we're stuck. We've got to pray. You know what you really got to do, Ron? You got to go on Sunday. I thank you. You got to go on Sundays, Ron, to church right now. And you got to pray that the New England Patriots can win 10 games for the next 2 seasons, because that'll give him 20, Bill, and then he retires because he's going to beat Don Shula. Otherwise, we may be stuck with this for like 3 or 4 years. If they win 6 games, that's 3 years. That's 3 years of this. I can't do it for 3 more years. I can't. I cannot.
Well,
that SU might change to a different letter.
If you're going by that, he's going to fall short after 2 years.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Rick, you said SU's 2 letters. I'm going to tell you right now, if Bill Belichick is still head coach in 3 years, I might go to a different letter for the S. And I'll let you guys assume what letter that would be. We all got to go do our part and go to church. Yes, you are right. You are right.
I might melt if I go in.
You stop burning a little bit. So, Ron, great future prospects, guys. Thanks for all the comments. We appreciate it. Continue to follow along. Give us more comments, because we're going to talk some NHL playoffs. We've had some ups and downs here that we weren't expecting, but let's start off right off the bat with the New Jersey Carolina series that's ended. Carolina won that series 4-1. Is Carolina favorites now in the East? Like, they looked at the
I
team.
said that at the beginning of the season.
You did. Even when Boston was doing their thing, you still said Carolina was a team to beat.
Right. And, when you look at what they just did to New Jersey, I mean, that just says it all. They're hitting their stride now. They came into the playoffs and they were a second thought to everyone because of what the Bruins were doing, and because of Patrick Kane on the Rangers and how New Jersey was a surprise. So they weren't even being talked about at all. But yet they were still the second best team in the league the whole way. And I don't understand how they just fell off the radar.
But this is similar to the NBA with the Denver Nuggets.
Right.
Nobody's giving the Nuggets a shot. They were just like, oh, it's the Denver Nuggets. They're not going to do it in the playoffs.
Right.
And they're doing Carolina. The difference with Carolina is they've done it. They've been that team before in the playoffs.
Yes.
They've won it a couple of years ago. So it's not like they don't know what they're doing.
Yes. And look, they've got a great
Have a good night.
team.
Thank you for joining. Amazing.
They got a great team like this. They have all the tools. They have a solid defense. They got some talented offensive players, but what they've been getting in the playoffs is Anderson.
Yeah.
Mr. Anderson.
Oh, Matrix reference. Look at you. All right.
Exactly. Like this is
That's what he's doing with the
what
puck,
he's been
right?
doing. He's just like saving everything.
Yes.
I mean, the guy has been lights out.
Yes. Yes.
And
But is there a Neo on the next team that they're going to be facing that could possibly beat them? I don't know. Those
well,
movies always confused me. I'll be honest. with
maybe
you.
Keith Kachuk.
Right? Because Florida, let's talk about that. Florida, Toronto, Florida up 3-1. And we
Yeah.
thought the Boston thing was a fluke. And they took Boston to 7. They're about to beat them in 5 games, the Maple
Yeah.
Leafs.
Yeah, they're making Toronto look pretty bad. And it's nothing that we haven't really said, right?
Other than I did pick Maple Leafs to win it all in our NHL. So if you
Again,
watch our NHL preview show, I'm sorry. I was wrong again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did I have?
I don't even remember.
I believe
anymore.
I might have had Carolina and maybe Colorado again.
Yeah, I think you had Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
that
had
one's out too.
Carolina winning it, if I'm not mistaken.
So why has Florida been so dominant, Ron? What's been the key for them?
Well, this is what we've been talking about, off air. They're bullying people. They're just straight up bullies. They get exactly that's the Bruins, what they're saying, and then now it's Toronto the same way. They're not like blowing people out or anything. They're just doing enough. They're getting to the puck
They
first.
do the little things. Yeah,
Yeah,
they create the turnovers. They get to the puck faster.
And when you think about it, the best way to slow down an offensive team, hit them, crush their defense into pulp.
Yeah,
That's what they're doing. They're forechecking, getting in on the defense, hitting them, making them feel it. So now when they're not hitting them, they're coughing up the puck earlier, like you saw the Bruins do in those latter games, right? Coughing up the puck right out in front. That's the result of hit.
We're going to be picking Game 5 at the end of the show with our prediction. So we'll get back into that. What about on this Western Conference now? Seattle, Dallas, Stars won last night, so they're up 3-2. Pavelski's looking phenomenal. He's been Pavelski. He's been a star all year for them, and he's continued to do it in the playoffs. We like this Kraken team, a young team. It was a great story, but do you think this is the Stars, advancing here, taking that 1-game lead going into Game 6?
Yeah, I think that pretty much is the writing on the wall. I can't see Seattle taking this series now. There's no way. I think Dallas actually gets it done in Game 6, and they're going to look at it as, well, now we can sit back, rest some bodies. And so they're going to want to get it done. They're going to come out and they're going to want to get it done. They take a look at that Bruins series as an example. And I think that's what every team should be doing right now. Look, let's put it away when we can. And I'm not even talking just this this league. I'm talking about the NBA as well. You got to
Yeah.
put them away, or you end up like the Bruins.
Yeah, no, it's a great point.
And I think Dallas is going to be ready. I think they're going to come out, and I think I wouldn't even be surprised if they shut them out.
Vegas, Golden Knights, Edmonton, series tied 2-2. We're actually going to do this prediction. But Edmonton, highest scoring team in the playoffs, almost 4 goals a game. Vegas, though, right behind fifth, 3.56. So
Yeah.
You're seeing it. And then Vegas
Well,
a little
they have
better.
to be. They have to score goals to keep up with Edmonton.
So who breaks in this, though? Is it Edmonton? Because both of them are giving up 3.11 at Vegas and 3.30 goals against Edmonton. So they're both giving up some goals, but they're both scoring a good clip here.
Yeah.
McDavid, Draisaitl leading almost everything in points, goals, assists in the playoffs right now. So who gets this? Because the home team is split as well. They both lost once on their home ice. Who's got the advantage here, Ron? Because if you're looking at it on paper, you say McDavid, Draisaitl, they're going to outscore anybody. But Vegas seems to be able to do the same thing. What's the key in this series?
Well, the key is containment. You have to stay disciplined if you're Vegas, because you can't give them power play after power play. Now I know in some of those games that the Vegas Golden Knights contained that power play. I believe it was game 3 that they did a really good job of it. But lightning ends up striking eventually, and
is that lightning?
Yeah, no, that's the goal that are being scored.
Hey.
And there's nothing I can do about it because the switch to the goal siren is far away right now. So it's drama music for the segment, I guess.
I love it.
Look, and Vegas has to be able to contain those top scorers, and if they can't, then they're going to end up on the losing end of it. You don't want to go into an overtime against that team because they can just wait until they're shot, and then once they get that chance, they will connect on it. So Vegas has to put them away in regulation, or they're gonna be in trouble.
And I think, look, the league wants Edmonton. I think they want McDavid to be that face. So I think it'd be a big disappointment to the NHL if it's not Edmonton. But again, Vegas seems like they're able to throw punches as well. So it's going to be an interesting series.
Mark
High
Stone
scoring.
Well, Mark Stone has been playing, like that all-star caliber type player he's supposed to be. And, as long as they're going to get that from him, that's key. I mean, you can't match, Connor McDavid and Draisaitl, and the whole cast, for punch for punch. So you got to limit those punches. It's the simple case as when you get those old fights, with Muhammad Ali and any big puncher, you got those big punches, sure, but if you can't connect on it, if Muhammad Ali is bopping and weaving and doing his thing, as long as you make them miss, that's what you got to do, and they got to do their best impression of a Muhammad Ali in this, because they'll be out.
Agreed.
Give me the punch, boom, done.
Agreed. So it is time for great NHL, by the way. Time for pick and roll, my friend.
Pick and roll.
It's time for pick and roll.
And tonight's pick and roll, we're going to basically rank these 5 players that were 2004, so 19 years ago, episode 19, Major League Baseball home run leaders. And that was Adrian Beltre, Adam Dunn, Albert Pujols, Barry Bonds, and Manny Ramirez. And we're going to rank them from 5 to 1. And I know how difficult this one had to be for you, just based on some of the players. And I may surprise you with mine as well. So we'll see.
Oh, I'm going to surprise you.
Okay.
It'll be like that Charles Barkley commercial.
Oh, what
you're going to be surprised. Okay, so my pick and roll for today. At number 5, I have Adam Dunn. Look, I mean, he pales in comparison for no matter who you put up there. That doesn't
Pretty
even
much.
matter. Him and his whopping, you know, 462 home runs. That's great, right? Yeah, 237 batting average.
Yes.
Um, he's only been to 2 All-Stars his whole career, and
Mhm.
that's it for accolades. His WAR is only 17.9, dude. Wins above
Mhm.
replacement 17.9. So basically, when you're throwing anybody in that position, you're pretty much doing the same thing. But I mean, he had good numbers. All the whole 1,631 hits kind of is disturbing. But the runs 1,097, 1,168 RBI. Yeah, that kind of sums it up.
Yeah.
That's Adam
Okay.
Dunn.
Adam done. Okay. He's done.
Okay, now this is going to completely surprise you.
Okay. Go
At
ahead.
number 4, I have Jim Edmonds. Yep. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Jim Edmonds, number 4.
Yeah.
He had 1,949 hits, so he was slightly better than Adam Dunn. 393 home runs was less, but his batting average 284. RBIs 1199. It must stink being one less than 1,200. But what he got it for was because of those 8 Gold Gloves, and he has a World Series, so I put him above Adam Dunn, even though he wasn't on your list. He is on my list because somebody moved off the list. All right. So number 3, I have Jim Tomei. Look, I can see it on your face. Yep. Jim Tomei is in there at number 3. So if you're scoring at home, I removed 2 players and I put Jim Edmonds and Jim Tomei in. But Jim Tomei, 612 home runs. 612 home runs, 23, 28 in hits, 1,500 plus runs, 1,699. Again, one short of 1,700. You might want to play one more game to get them at that 1,700. 19 super stolen bases, right? Think about what he'd have now. Probably one. 5 All-Stars, 1 Silver Slugger. He had a 276 batting average, so that's pretty good for a power hitter, such as Jim Tomei. 73.1 was his WAR, and you have no clue what's going on right now.
Nope.
So number two, I have Adrian Beltre, who was the original list.
Okay.
That WAR is really good, 93.5. That's pretty good. But his numbers, 477 home runs, fantastic. Not the 612 that Jim Tomei had, but 4 Silver Sluggers, 5 Gold Gloves, 2 Platinum Gloves.
Mhm.
Platinum Gloves.
Yes.
He had 1524 runs and 1707 RBIs and 121 stolen bases. So he was a burner for a power hitter. But he had 3,166 hits, which is second on my list.
Mhm.
And that leaves number 1 being Albert Pujols with 703 home runs, 296 batting average. The RBIs, 2,200, 1,900 runs. Those are great. But when you look at the accolades, it was far more than everyone else on my list. 11 All-Stars, 6 Silver Sluggers, 2 Gold Gloves, 3 MVPs, and a batting title. And, of course, 2 World Series. Just for the record, I left out Barry Bonds and, of course, Manny Ramirez. And that's all I'll say.
Okay. So, again, Ron gives you the wrong list. I'll give you the correct list. But I agree with you. Adam Dunn at 5 has to be, out of these 5 players, the worst of the bunch. You already read the numbers. I went Beltre at 4. I went Ramirez at 3.
Who?
Oh, Manny Ramirez.
Oh, okay. One of the guys I took off.
I went, believe it or not, Barry Bonds at number 2. Even though his accolades are much better than Pujols, I did a run and I gave Pujols the edge because of the 2 championships. And I put Pujols as the number 1 on this list. Ahead of Barry Bonds, even though Barry Bonds had more MVPs, more Silver Sluggers, and more Gold Gloves. More Gold Gloves.
More juice.
Well, 2004, he may not have been as juiced by then. So according to you, there's certain times or periods where you would count it. Just saying. All right. Well, that was our pick and roll that Ron completely hacked. Thank you, Ron, for that.
I just took out 2 players that didn't deserve to be in there.
All right. All right, my friend. We are going to go on to our prediction segment and change at the leaderboard, my friend. Little change.
Yeah, it is what it is.
You had a week, but if you're out there live and you want to jump in and give us your picks as well, Ron's going to bring up the list. I know how much he loves every week. We do the same thing with the predictions. Do you not just want to show? It's all right. It's okay. We're gonna get through it. You were 3-6 last week. Kenny beat you last week.
Last year?
Kenny beat you last week. 5-4. Okay. Look at that. Look at Kenny. And I was 6-3, taking a 1-game lead, but we know it's so early in the season. But get your name on there, Nick. If you're still out there, right? Amazing Pants. Let's get some picks in today. All right, so you are starting us off, and we're going with the NBA first. The New York Knicks at the Miami Heat. That's game 6. That game is tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to go Miami in that. Look, they're just a better defensive team as well as an offensive team. And you said it yourself, like Jimmy Butler can make a difference, and he's going to be a difference tonight.
Yeah, look, I like Brunson. I like the pickup, what he's been able to do in New York. I just feel like Miami has the edge, especially at home. I went Miami as well.
I'll tell you, next year I'd be worried about the Knicks.
Yeah, they get one more piece, or Barrett can step up and be a little bit more of a consistent player.
Yep.
No, very good point. Also tonight, we got the Golden State Warriors at the Los Angeles Lakers. That is game 6. I don't think LA closes it out tonight. I'm going Warriors. I got Klay Thompson having a big game. I think it's Klay time, and I'm going Warriors here.
Yeah, I also went with the Golden State Warriors. I think, look, the Splash Brothers are going to show up. Stephen Curry is going to show up. I mean, this is what he does in crunch time. And, AD, I find it hard to believe that he'll be in there because he always misses games, and it's about time that he is. So I would definitely go Golden State.
This Sunday, game 7, Philadelphia 76ers at the Boston Celtics, Ron.
You hope for the best, right? You want everybody to play their best game. If everybody comes out and plays their best game, the Celtics should win. I'll go Celtics.
I am as hopeful as you are, and I am going Boston as well, because if they don't win, I don't know if we can handle the Bruins and the Celtics both losing in this fashion.
No.
And I don't know if the city of Boston can. We need the Celtics to win for Boston. I'm going the Celtics here. I believe in the fact that they slept in game 5. They'll be awake in game 7.
Yeah, I hope so.
We also got tonight the Florida Panthers at the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think the puck may have dropped on that one just in the last few minutes. That's game 5. Panthers up 3-1.
Yep.
It's your pick. Is it? It's my pick. It's my pick. I'm going Florida here. Florida closes it out. I don't think Toronto. I think Toronto's rattled at this point, and I think it's over, even though they're at home.
Yeah, I agree. I think their desperation game was game 4 and they won game 4. Now they got to go back home, and I think that's too difficult to face the fans. And any trouble at all, the fans are going to be all over that team, and I think they cave, and Florida takes it.
Also tonight, later game, Edmonton Oilers at the Vegas Golden Knights. That's game 5. That series tied 2-2, Ron.
Yeah, I'm going to go Vegas on this one. They're going to be at home. I think they're going to be able to control the play. So I'll go Vegas, hopefully. Well, I don't even know if it's hopefully because I don't want either team to win. So
I went Edmonton here. I think that McDavid, Draisaitl, I think that 1-2 punch is a little too much, and I think they're going to be able to win 2 straight games and finish the series off. Major League Baseball, we've got San Diego Padres at the Los Angeles Dodgers. That's series kicks off tonight, 3-game set. Who's this? Mine? I am going here with the Dodgers. Padres have been struggling lately, and I don't like the direction they're heading, so I went LA here.
yeah, I kind of agree. LA is going to be at home as well. I mean, it just seems like, in those close calls, you kind of lean towards the home team.
Yeah.
Because I think the home field advantage kind of wins a game. And then, all things being equal, then the Dodgers should win at least another one. So you would think 2-1 in this series.
Yeah, I agree. XFL championship game tomorrow, Arlington Renegades versus the DC Defenders, Ron.
I went 0-2 picking Defenders Renegades. So I don't know how well I've done with the Defenders, to be honest with you. I don't know if I've picked the Defenders, but I'm going to go Defenders at home to try to hold off the Renegades.
Well, I don't know if it's on a neutral site because it just said versus, but DC Defenders had the best record in the XFL. They've been the most dominant team. I think they only had 1 loss. I think they finish off the job. They win the championship in probably 2-3 touchdown fashion because they've been dominating all year. MLS action. We got the New England Revolution at versus Inter Miami CF. That is in Miami. I'm going against New England this time. I'm going Miami here at home.
Yeah, this is nothing like the NFL where the Patriots always lose to the Dolphins.
Oh,
So
wow.
it is totally opposite. So I'm going to take New England Revs beating Miami in Miami.
Right. So we're either going to have a tie or we're going to be in the same boat. You got 2 different. All right. Nice job. So that was our predictions. At any point, if you're joining us live, always make sure you chime in and give us your predictions as well. We'll get you on that list. Ron, before we go into our final thoughts, and that's how we end our show, can you tell the wonderful people out there if they'd love to sponsor Sports Unfolded, how they can do so?
No. No. All you have to do is send us an email.
He's here all night, ladies and gentlemen, all night.
Yeah. ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. We can send you out all the information, but really what you need to know is that, for an introductory to the program, it would cost you less than going to your favorite donut shop and getting a coffee and a donut. So it's a really great bargain to get thousands of eyes, and ears on your product, or whatever you're selling.
Yeah, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. We're on so many things. MeWe. We're on Anchor, Spotify, Google.
It's not Anchor anymore, Eric.
Oh, it isn't. Oh, is it just they switched it?
Spotify for
Spotify
podcasts.
Yes, you are correct.
Yeah.
So many different ways that you can watch, listen to us, get your business out there. If you're in Southeast Connecticut, SEC TV, Public Access Channel 12. We're on every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. So if you're local to the Southeast Connecticut market and you want to get your business recognized there, we can do that as well for you. And then you can follow us on all our social media platforms. That's scrolling down on the bottom. It'll tell you exactly which platforms you can follow us and how to do that. Ron, it is final thought time, and final thoughts doesn't necessarily have to be sports related. It could be about anything going on in the sports world today. You are first this week, my friend. So if you have at it in your final thought.
Yeah, I can't remember what my original one was going to be, but because that was just overwhelmed by the joy I got from Daniel Snyder finally being gone from the NFL as an owner. I mean, this, and I'm going to say it, this scumbag of a human really didn't belong running an organization in the NFL. If there was one owner, and there's many of them that probably should go as well, this would be the one. I mean, he has caused more havoc, with people's rights, workers' rights, just the culture of the organization was horrible. And it is nothing but great, outlook ahead for this team. And I hope they change the name to really wipe it clean, because I really don't like the Commander's name. Look, just get back to basics, decency, kindness. That is what you should bring into this organization and really set a standard for the NFL as a model of perfection. This is your chance. This is your chance to do it and get it right. And, no more of this discrimination towards anything, whether it is women, race, religion, whatever it may be. Everybody needs to treat each other with dignity and equality. So start from scratch. This is your chance to get something right, NFL.
Well said. 6 billion reasons why this should be important to them. And I believe currently owns the 76ers and the New Jersey Devils. So if you think about those organizations, we really haven't heard negative publicity come out of those organizations. So hopefully this is the right move for the NFL. Thank you, Ron. My final thought is actually about West Virginia head coach Bob Huggins, who used some homophobic slurs on a radio show. He's been suspended 3 games and his salary slashed by $1 million. But I have a bigger issue with the university. This is a gentleman who's supposed, and I use gentleman term loosely. This is a man who is teaching your students, your student athletes, how to be respected in the community, how to grow up to be mature young men and make right decisions. And these are the things that he did. He's not a young man. He's had some life experiences, and I'm sure he understood the things that he said and how they would be portrayed. To me, feel like this suspension and penalty with his salary wasn't enough. That is my opinion. I might be looking at it completely different, but I will say this. I wouldn't want somebody teaching my son how to be a man if that's what you choose to use as words to describe somebody or a city I don't care if it's your rivals or not. You need to teach these kids respect and how to your point, equality for all. Yeah. And I think Bob Huggins should have had a longer suspension. Make him really think about it, because I'm sure that $1 million, slashing of his contract's really going to kill him when he's probably making $6 or $7 million as it is. So, I think the university blew it on this one. And Bob Huggins, I think besides going to some, classes to try to learn how about just being smarter about the decisions and the words you use going forward? That would make a lot of sense based on the fact that you're not a 15-year-old, 20-year-old kid. You're an older gentleman who should have understood what you were saying and how it would be portrayed.
Well, this just goes to show you what I was just talking about with the NFL. That this sends a wrong message to, the university and the rest of the NCAA. It sends a wrong message. It's like you're condoning it, basically. 3 games? What is that?
Yeah.
And does that even count preseason?
Yeah, who knows?
Well, I don't know if they really have a preseason.
Yeah,
but
I think it's the regular season, but even that, I mean, does that really affect them? The fact is that he can win basketball games. He gets them into the NCAA tournament, and that's what the university thought was more important.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's other people out there that I'm sure were affected by it, and I'm sure 3 games is not enough for them either. Ron, I want to thank you tonight for your time. Season 3, episode 19, Command and Conquer. As we finish off, I want to thank everybody that joined us live. Nick and Rick. Hey, look at that.
And Sarah.
Sarah joined us live. Everybody who's going to join us afterwards, please follow us, share the show, and just make sure that you get us out there. Sponsor us. We want that sponsor. We are dying to get a sponsor for Sports Unfolded. So, Ron, I will see you next Friday. I can't wait. My friend, you take care. Enjoy some games. I'm sure we'll be talking on Sunday. There's some game going on in Boston that we might have some interest in. And I want to wish all the mothers out there very happy Mother's Day this Sunday.
Absolutely.
Please enjoy with your families and your loved ones. Again, a very special day for very special women who mean so much to most of us in this world. So thank you. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. Ron, you take care. I will see you next Friday, my friend.
All right.
And all we ever ask for is peace on earth.